What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Courting. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. It is Friday, February 17th. And finally, we're getting some politicians involved in what's going on in Ohio, as it seems, at least to me, the untrained plebeian, that there's a ton more going on around this train derailment. And we're going to get into that. Meanwhile, the same train company had another train also carrying hazardous materials derail in Michigan. And it's to me, sometimes you don't really know, like, is this like a actual spike in events, or is this now suddenly more people are paying attention? I think sometimes it's a combination of both. Trains do derail more often than you think, but this many in such a short period of time, especially with what appears to be, many believe, a cover up in Ohio, um, it's got a lot of people talking. So JD Vance actually went to Ohio and put his boots on the ground. Footage of Senator JD Vance from Ohio, of course, sorry, went to the site, just footage of him disturbing a creek bed in East Palestine, Ohio, and causing chemical bubbles to rise to the surface garnered millions of views as the nation becomes increasingly concerned about the fallout from nearby Norfolk Southern trail derailment. Local and state authorities previously evacuated all residents within 1 mile of the derailment and started a controlled burn of the industrial chemicals present on the vehicle to decrease the risk of any kind of explosion, which could have sent shrapnel throughout the small town. Now, of course, vinyl chloride, a carcinogen used to manufacture PVC, which is in everything, any plumbing or all sorts of stuff, was released from 5 train cars last week in the form of massive plumes of dark smoke visible throughout eastern Ohio and western Pennsylvania. In footage posted by Vance on Thursday afternoon, the newly elected lawmaker stood next to a small creek in East Palestine beyond the dead worms and dead fish he observed in the water. Vance used a stick to disturb the bottom of the creek. Moments later, an oily sheen of chemicals emerged to the surface of the water. This is disgusting, he commented. The fact that these chemicals are still seeping into the ground is an insult to the people who live in East Palestine. Do not forget these people. Now, I thought I saw somewhere that FEMA basically noped out of this. I certainly hope that's not the case. But what's interesting is if you look at this video, like, it's so weird. Has anybody else noticed how weird this is? Where, like, we're being told one thing by the people that we're supposed to trust, right? The EPA comes in and says, hey, the water's fine, the air's fine, right? Everything's fine. Okay, everything's fine. Go back to your homes, drink the water, take a shower, feed it to your kids, whatever. Put it in your ice cubes and have yourself a nice bourbon with that $1,000 hush money from the train company. Okay. And then you see somebody go on the ground, right? And let's just look at this video. It's 41 seconds long. I don't know how the audio is
Hey
going to work.
guys, so I'm here at Leslie Run.
Well, actually, let's see if I can figure this out. Well, if the audio doesn't work, it's fine. We'll see the
And
video.
there's dead worms and dead fish all throughout.
So he says there's dead worms and dead fish. Okay, and look at this. Look at this.
You come here and let me just show this to people. I don't know if you're going to see this in the camera, but watch this. Just see that chemical pop out of the creek. This is disgusting.
I mean, is there some natural explanation for this underneath the replies? I don't know. Like, I don't even understand it. You see a lot of the replies. Thanks for standing up for the people of Ohio, Senator. This saddens me. These tributaries run to the Ohio River that runs to the Mississippi River and ultimately the Gulf of Mexico, not regional for long. I don't see anybody in these replies saying, oh, that's that's a chemical stick brand tree, and that's why it does that. You see the flush/treatment/extraction seems to be far from over as they've decided to not even close the East Palestine City Park. During the process, little kids playing within 50 yards. That's not like just a little bit. Okay, so I just see what I see, right? I don't know. I'm not a scientist, right? So I see what I see, and all I see is what I see. It's so like when usually like let's remember like cryptosporidium. Remember that like everyone got sick from that. It happened where I lived in Milwaukee. It's not something you could like see in the water. They're like microbes, and it's made people sick. This stuff you can see plain as day. So for them to say, "Oh, this is fine," I want somebody, okay, from the EPA to go down there, take a cupful of that water, and drink it. You see this, Jennifer Allman. I've posted these videos for 3 days. You could have credited me. I don't know why you would get credit. It's his own original video. But you see this, like, look at the sheen in the water. These are from chemicals. Very obviously buildup of chemicals in the water. I mean, what is going? Why would you want credit for this? But you can see this is not like trace amounts. This is a lot of Look at it on top of the water. It's like an oil spill. There's a little fishy in there just trying to hang on. I, and then when you bake in, obviously this happened in Michigan, another train derailment. This train also carrying hazardous materials. Why they're all running? Uh, you know, Now allegedly, according to what Norfolk Southern again. By the way, these cowards didn't even have the stones to show up for the town hall in Ohio because they were afraid people might pummel them, rightfully so, in my opinion, in Minecraft. Okay, but again, authorities responding to a freight derailment Thursday in southeast Michigan. The latest incident as communities in Arizona and Ohio grapple with the fallout from collisions involving hazardous materials. That's three in a couple of weeks. Emergency crews were on the scene in Van Buren Township about 30 Norfolk Southern railway cars went off the tracks Thursday morning. The derailment prompted temporary road closures, which were expected to reopen by this evening. The township is located 30 miles west of Detroit. There's no evidence of exposed hazardous materials, although at least one of the cars had them, as far as I read. Um, and there's also no reported injuries. Okay, so that's good. Trains derail like literally more often than you think, but three in a couple weeks is obviously a pretty big increase to that. And then this is yet another train that's carrying hazardous materials. They say that no hazardous materials were released into the soil or waterways, but people are also telling, I'm not saying that I can't say definitively that that's not true, but what I can say is they said that the water was safe to drink. Maybe it is. I don't know like their reports and their what their reports all say, but I'm just a simple man, okay? When I see somebody rub a stick in a riverbed and see chemicals rise to the top, I'm very concerned. Now, if you're going to tell me that, oh, it's a harmless chemical that's carried by the water, I mean, the list of harmless chemicals to put into water supplies seems like it would be a pretty short one. It's insane to me that these are the people that we're supposed to trust, and it's like, how many weeks has this been now? Wasn't the original derailment like in the third or the sixth? This is weeks later, and the really scary part is, would anybody even be there if it weren't for you all out there? I mean, I have to tell you, when I first saw this, I was like, okay, this is, not good, but it's not really something I normally cover. I had so many of you literally begging me to cover it. I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, like, you guys and gals were like, bro, please, nobody's covering this. And so people start finally covering it. And weeks later, I mean, yeah, I'm glad JD Vance is there, but it's been weeks. Why wasn't he there 10 days ago? And I think, you know, it speaks to just how much power these corporations have, that they can just spill all this stuff, make the decision to essentially nuke a town with chemicals, as one person put it, and everyone's just like, okay, I'm telling you, years from now, there will be all sorts of these, like, you'll see them on daytime television. Did you live in East Palestine or surrounding areas during 2013? Have you grown a third arm on the back of your head? Contact us now. Class action lawsuit, blah, 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 blah. That's what's going to happen because we it's going to take years to really see the environmental impact of this. And it's I keep thinking of like the Simpsons fish with its three-eyed fish. And again, just like always, the cover up is just so much worse than the crime. Yes, accidents happen, okay? Transporting hazardous materials has its inherent risk. But why would you just risk why are they going around handing out allegedly $1,000 checks to tell people to, let them be? Why are they already boots on the ground doing that? They should be spending that money cleaning up the rivers and cleaning up the soil. And maybe they should have thought more about blowing these carts up and spreading the chemicals all over the place. Norfolk Southern, I guess the EPA has said that they will hold them accountable, but what about the people in these towns? Well, hopefully JD Vance gets on it and handles his business. If you're in this area, I absolutely feel for you. If you're a viewer and you want more coverage on this, please do leave a like on the video and make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on so you get notified each and every time I upload a video. And I hope you have a great day.